Hello everyone, today is Friday, July 26th. It's 3:53 p.m., about 7 minutes before the regular session close. You can see my computer clock on my right, on my left is time and sales showing the E-mini S&P trading at 30.29. Pretty good Friday for the auto trader. First I want to show you we're having a webinar next Thursday, and the webinar will basically be an introduction to the auto trader and how it can help you in your trading. And also it'll be co-hosted by Trader Jim, where we'll have a discussion about how Jim has used the auto trader to have a winning streak that's just a spectacular winning streak since the middle or beginning of May until now. Of course, this is not going to last forever. There's bound to be a losing day sooner or later, but we'll talk about Jim and how he trades and his approach, and also the features and benefits of the auto trader, how it can help you. The link to the webinar is here. So on the website, you'll have to type this in, this actual URL, bluewavetrading.com/BWT-webinar. And so if you just type that in your browser, you'll get the link here. Or if you shoot me an email, I'll put you on the list and send you a link. Also, I requested help with the Excel spreadsheet, and several of you were kind enough to respond. Thank you so much. This particular client is just keeping track of the videos, and so these are some of the charts that were seen in the videos. This was Thursday. There's another spreadsheet here, but I made some manual notes, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But now that I have this, I'll be able to better organize what won and what lost, and we'll be able to have some idea of what is the most consistent. So the reason I'm showing this chart first is this is the template that I made to copy or emulate the settings Jim is using. This is using the opening range filter, and he likes to start it at 9 o'clock. And so with the open range, it only goes long above or short below, and true to its style, it finished trading within 5 minutes of trading. Of course, his goal is 500, and I've actually extended the goal to 750. So we had excellent positive slippage here, and you can see there were 3 winners in a row, no losers, no drawdown. And I did make some changes to the templates, so I'm just going to go through the screens here. So if you're a client and you want to copy these settings, I'm going to go through the screens. Here's your setup screen. Here's your entry filters. And then I'll scroll down here. Okay, top, bottom, top. Here is your exits. I am using the precision trend exit. Jim is not. And there is no higher time frame filter, so you can ignore that. And then in trade management, you'll want to see that. It's a limit order at the close of the bar. You might be able to get away with a tick or two pullback. And here's your trade brackets. First target is 20 ticks. And then when the first target is hit, I'm trailing by 0 bars. And the stop loss is equal to the first target. And then here's the goals here and the trailing stops. Anyway, this has worked out pretty good. I've only shown it 2 days, and both days it hit its goal. So if that was your week, you made about 1,500 for the week on 3 contracts. So far, I'm pretty impressed with this. Remains to be seen how this will trade unattended. This is just the template and the settings, no manual input. But let's look at what happened today, why you might have had a bullish. Let's look at why you might have had a bullish outlook to today. Okay, so looking at our 15-minute chart, we can see a little clearer kind of this pattern here. This is a trend line that I drew several days ago, and it has worked out pretty good. The market kind of came to this trend line, but more so, there's a pattern that kind of takes place in the market, and that is whatever the overnight session does, if the overnight session tends to end on its low, then the market tends to finish the auction you know, it's kind of like an unfinished auction, and the market tends to come back at least to the highs of the night session. In this case here, the overnight session kind of finished on its high, and just you know, they got a jump on the sell-off here, but it basically finished on its high here, and then it sold off. In this night session, basically finished on its low, and the market took it up. Let's go back and see how this continues to play. So here, market overnight finished on its low, they took it up. Overnight finished on its high, they took it down. In this session, basically, okay, so this overnight session kind of finished on its high, and they took it up. So this was more of a continuation. Okay, so same here. This is a strong market here. But here, again, back to this pattern. Finished on its high, they took it down. Here, finished on its high, they took it up a little higher, but then took it down. But the other thing you can gain from this is all of these fingers are natural levels of support and resistance. So down here, this was support. The market tested this level. It took it up. So from the value area highs and lows, if you learn how to read a volume profile chart or market profile, you can get some very good information and ideas of where the support and resistance in the market is. Okay, this is another very consistent chart, and according to my records, in the last 2 weeks, I've been tracking this now for 2 weeks, so really there was only about 8 or 9 trading days because I had computer issues on a couple of days, and so I didn't make a video every single one of those days. But the crude oil on the Superenco 8 tick had approximately 5 winning days out of 8 days. And here's what it did today. No negative drawdown, just trading a single contract, and the goal is 500. So this had 3 ticks of positive slippage on this strong run-up. Really nice, nicely done. Okay, next is the E-mini S&P on a Superenco 6 tick, and this is using our line break as a filter, or line break logic as I usually call it. This has a goal of 375, and this hit its goal, had some slippage, but this chart has won, according to my records, 6 times in 8 trading days, approximately. So this appears to be a very consistent chart. Okay, this is the E-mini S&P on a Superenco 6 tick with a higher time frame, Superenco 6. And this chart has 5 to 6 or maybe even 7 winning days in the last 2 weeks of trading. And so my records aren't as accurate as I'd like them to be, but they're close, and hopefully I'll do better when I have the spreadsheets. But this I can say, if you traded this every day unattended in the last 2 weeks, you would have come up positive, pretty good positive. And the goal on this is somewhat modest at, on one contract, $400 is your profit target, 375 loss limit. Okay, this chart is the Superenco 4 with the Superenco 6 higher time frame, and this has been a consistent chart for a long time, not just the last 2 weeks. But in the last 2 weeks, I have it winning 6 days of the 8 that I tracked. I believe it's 8 days that I track, 4 days a week. So not only in the last 2 weeks, but over a long period of time, this chart is tracked well. A client also submitted a spreadsheet to me where he went back 3 months. He's been trading it live with real money for quite some time, and I've showed this spreadsheet in a video before. I've only been tracking this chart, the NASDAQ, on a 2584 line break chart for 3 or 4 days, and I show it winning 3 days. So I'm not sure if I've tracked it 4 days or 3 days, but that's pretty impressive so far. If you guys could give me some feedback on line break charts, whether you would be interested in trading them or knowing more about them, I think they're pretty good. They show good on the Autotrader. I'm just wondering if nobody's interested or would actually trade these kind of a chart, then perhaps I'll remove it from the mix and show something else. Okay, next up is the E-mini S&P on a 1597 tick line break chart, and there was two really nice trades against the higher time frame filter, which in this case is a Super Anko 8 tick. So this worked out really, really well. Could have potentially got filled on this trade. It looks like I have a limit order with a 4 tick pullback, so obviously it didn't pull back 4 ticks here. You can see the pullback here. You know, one of the hard things about using a line break chart is there's no tails on the bar. Even though there is a bar type with tails on the line break chart, it actually works better on the bars without the tail because this is considered the low of the bar instead of the tail, and that actually works better. Anyway, this chart has been pretty good. So it has a goal of 1,000 and it finished at 762 today. The E-mini S&P on a Super Anko 4 tick with a higher time frame filter, a Super Anko 8, is another chart that we see fairly often, and today it did 300. I think the goal on this is 375. No, it's 750, and it's trading 2 contracts, so still in the green. The E-mini S&P on a regular 6 Renko chart with a higher time frame filter of Super Anko 6 has a goal of 400 and did 300 today. Okay, the E-mini S&P on a regular 5 Renko chart with a Super Anko 8 higher time frame has been a very solid and consistent chart. This did 175 for the day against the Super Anko 8 background, but this is a chart worth keeping on your radar. Okay, so the E-mini S&P on a regular 4 range chart did 225 for the day. The goal on this is 400. And we're trailing, it got stopped out by bars here at 24 ticks. Another chart that's pretty reliable is this DAX Super Anko 6 with the Step MA filter and our opening range filter starting at the US session, and this looks really good here. Took a trade right off the open. Took quite a while to hit its goal ultimately, but I do have a $750 goal on this. Well, I have a $525 goal on this, so this had really great positive slippage. Not sure why, but who cares? Okay, the DAX on a 987 Heikin-Ashi chart has a goal of 450, trading a single contract off the US session open. And so it hit its goal in about 20 minutes of trading. The E-mini S&P on a 987 Heikin-Ashi chart with the open range filter ignored any shorts here and powered all the way through to a trade right off the open until the 2 o'clock hour. Try holding that via discretion, and finished at 387.50. It has a goal of 400. This chart is fairly new. It's the E-mini S&P on a regular 2 Renko, but as long as I've been plotting it, I'd say its win rate is about 80%. And so today it had 2 trades against the higher time frame filter, which is Super Anko 6, and the goal on this is 375, so definitely hit its goal and had some slippage. Finally, the DAX on a 150 Heikin-Ashi chart trading off the US session open hit its goal of 400, I believe. Well, 500, so not sure if it hit its goal, but still a good return. And this one has won 6 of 8 days, or maybe even 7, I have in my notes here. That's all for today's video. Thanks for watching.